Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Nice card at Keeneland on Saturday. One of the graded stakes races is the Bryan Station for 3-year-olds going a mile on the turf. It's carded as race number 8. Let's take a look at this field. $300,000 is the purse. We have a field of 10. The 9 More Than Looks, I think, is a deserving 9-5 morning line favorite, Mike. When this horse is right, he kicks like a mule.
Yeah, and he's been right so far in every single one of his turf races, Dan. You're not going to really find a poor performance on his card. He comes off of a seriously good performance in his most recent start. And, he's a closer, Dan. There appears to be plenty of pace in here to set him up.
It's a perfect segue into our time form US pace projector, and you'll note that this race is expected to have a fast pace, and the number 9 More Than Looks has the LP flag, which designates that More Than Looks has the fastest time form US late pace rating. Talk of the nation, the number 1 can be forwardly placed. He sat just off the lead last time out at Kentucky Downs. I wouldn't be surprised if the 3 Dude in Colorado is a little bit close as well.
Yeah, the 3 is one of the horses that can go forward. Certainly the 1, Talk of the Nation, could make the lead here if they wanted to, but he doesn't need it to be effective. He's another horse, though. He's run really well in every single turf start so far.
Mustache, another horse that should be forwardly placed. But Talk of the Nation did show the ability to sit from just off the pace. Here's his most recent effort at Kentucky Downs, the gun runner going a mile. And as the favorite, he's had a very comfortable trip. He made the lead and he kept on grinding.
It's a good performance for him. He did get a good trip in this race, but it's just another good performance. 5 turf starts so far. He's been in the exacta in all of those races. Personally, Dan, I didn't think he had a real excuse in the Jersey Derby 3 starts back. He certainly didn't have an excuse 2 back in the Manila when More Than Looks ran right over him in the stretch, but he's run well in all those races. It feels like he's still getting better for Shug, and he could get the right trip in this race.
Perhaps cutting back in distance is just what the doctor ordered for the number 2 Gigante. Joel Rosario aboard for Steve Asmussen. A winner at a mile, 2 starts back in the Grade 2 Secretariat. They tried the Virginia Derby, and he just couldn't finish with the winner, a horse that looks like he's very good.
Yeah, that winner did look really good winning that race. I'll give this horse the benefit of the doubt for that last one, Dan. First of all, they rated the break with him, which I didn't think they had to do. They took him all the way back in that field. And while he didn't have a huge finish in there, man, did he spend a lot of that stretch run sort of in and among horses. He was never really clear in there, and he just sort of flattened out late. This horse is actually underrated, I think, for Steve Asmussen. He tends to outrun his odds when they run him in races like this, and I think he's a player in this field.
Dude in Colorado, the number 3, is a stakes winner. The issue is we have not seen this horse since the middle of May when he was beaten by Gigante at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. I'm expecting him to show fresh speed, but whether that's the right running style for this race or not, it remains to be seen.
Yeah, I don't know that I would like him if I thought he was going to be on the lead in here, Dan. I'm just not that much of a fan of this horse. That being said, he is a stakes winner already on the grass. He's not a made horse yet by any means for Pletcher. He could certainly get better here as he returns off of a pretty long layoff. I'm not his biggest fan, but he's got a little bit of talent, this horse.
The 4 Smoky Mandate seems to be improving with each and every start, and he's so lightly raced that there still may be more in the tank for trainer Michael Maker. Now, while he was run over by More Than Looks last time out in the Jefferson Cup, he was also up close to a pretty fast pace, and on a hard chase, he made the first move into the pace, made the lead, and he held on well for second.
I'll agree with all that stuff. I mean, there's no match at the end, but he ran fine in that race. He ran fine 2 starts back when he was behind Talk of the Nation as well. He's another lightly raced horse who could take another step forward here. He's been forward in his recent races, but he doesn't have to be, part of a fast pace if it gets fast. I mean, there are things to like about this horse. I just wouldn't take 9-2 on it.
Some things worked against Mustache last time out. They cut him all the way back to distance in a sprint, and they ran him at Kentucky Downs, and he's now run twice at Kentucky Downs, and he hasn't done his best there. 2 starts back, he ran in the Secretariat, and he showed early speed, and then he just tired pretty badly. I couldn't find an excuse for that race.
Yeah, I'm not sure how good this horse is, Dan. He's one who does also, he kind of gives off that air that he sort of wants to be on the lead, and I'm not sure that would work out that well for him here if they had to send him to get there. I mean, he's a great price on the morning line, and he's another one who certainly has some good races on his card. He's another horse I'm not that much of a fan of his.
Another horse with good early speed is the number 6 Runaway Storm, and they were asking a lot of this horse last time out in the Virginia Derby in only his 4th lifetime start, and all things considered, he ran quite well to be 3rd. Another horse with a lot of upside potential, but one that might need to prove that he can sit and finish off horses and do it against some good ones.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it feels like another tough spot for this horse, but he's so lightly raced. He's taken steps forward every time they've sent him out there. He ran fine last time while on the lead. Maybe, having to make the front here wouldn't work out that well for him. But I think he's a horse you want to keep an open mind about at a big price because all of his turf races so far are pretty good.
The 7 is Worthington, and this is a horse that's adopted various running styles throughout his career. Now, he tried to emulate More Than Looks by coming from way off the pace last time out in the Jefferson Cup, and I think what we learned is he can't run with that horse late.
Yeah, he's got his work cut out for him here. They did the right thing last time. That pace was solid. They took him back. They let him run through the stretch, and he was never a real factor in there, but he picked up a pretty big piece of that purse at the end, and he earned a new top figure. Dan, he's got to improve again.
Perhaps these connections got a bargain with the 8 Santorini, who was purchased for $90,000 over the summer and got a win in a rich first level allowance race at Kentucky Downs last time out, going a mile. And in this race, he got up close to the pace. He was very game to pull off a 23-1 upset. Maybe he's slowly improving with blinkers, but this is a big hike in class.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like this is a huge improvement for this horse, but it is improvement. Maybe that's a good sign, Dan, even though it happened at Kentucky Downs, which just kind of makes it hard to judge. He's another horse who's going to be a big price in here. So if you like him, I guess you're just supposed to take a shot.
The 9 More Than Looks, again, is the horse to beat. Sometimes he doesn't break very well from the gate, but he kicks so well in the stretch that often it doesn't matter, especially in a race that has such pace. He looked so good winning the Manila 3-back, and that came on the heels of a really strong performance in a first-level allowance race. Although he was beaten at Saratoga in the Hall of Fame, but he was beaten by a pretty nice horse in Carl Spackler. But the last race, he was really firing that last eighth of a mile.
Yeah, he had the right setup in front of him there last time, Dan, but he really ran through the stretch. And I mean, you can just go back and pull the replay of any one of his races since they've stretched him out. He does the same thing every time. He has a huge kick, this horse. Even the race 2 back. I mean, listen, maybe he wasn't going to beat Carl Spackler anyway. This horse ran really well in the Hall of Fame without a great trip.
The Praise is up next. He's the number 10 going out for Chad Brown, Tyler Gaffalione. This is another horse, likes to be forwardly placed in his races. He pulled pretty hard last time out, and I wonder if he doesn't obtain cover from the far outside post, if that could be a similar situation, that could really work against him.
Yeah, I was a little surprised last time that he was so headstrong early in that race, Dan, because that hadn't been him in any of his prior races, and he wasn't always on the lead either. I don't know what was going on last time, but maybe he has enough of an excuse that you just want to give him the benefit of the doubt. The post is no bargain here, but this horse has run some really good races, and if he gets the right trip in this race, I think he could be around at the end.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Bryan Station at Keeneland. We're both going with More Than Looks. He just looks like he's going to get another good scenario. When you give him a good scenario and a clear run, he fires his best shot. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does in this race and then next year at 4.
Yeah, I agree with you. This horse is really good. I like him in here. I'm not going to bet against him in this race. And I'll try to get the 2 in there at a price in exactas. I'll also use the 10 of price. I think he's going to run better in here.
92110 for Mike, 9146 for me. It's the Bryan Station at Keeneland. A graded stakes race on Saturday. Good luck.